Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Peak Season Marketing Mastery webinar, Winning Customers Now and Keeping Them After. I'm Monica, the Senior Content Marketing Manager here at Saltbox, and I'll be hosting all things on this webinar today. We're really excited to explore a lot of the peak season strategies that we're implementing in our brands here at Saltbox, as well as Malikah over at On 12 Management and the company she's working with, from capturing your holiday shoppers to turning them into loyal customers. All right, let's see. There we go. So we'll be covering a lot of topics like I just mentioned, including winning marketing strategies. That's what all this presentation is about. But also we're going to be covering how to crush your sales goals and also how to prepare your operations to ensure that things run smoothly during the busiest time in your supply chain. But first, I'm going to introduce and bring to the stage our speakers. Today, we have Malikah from On 12 Management, who is going to be sharing a lot of insightful growth tactics, as well as Olivia, who is our VP of Marketing here at Saltbox, who will be running through a lot of practical tips for marketing strategies, as well as how to manage your holiday fulfillment. I'll let you guys take the stage.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Malikah, and I am the founder of On 12 Management, which is an Atlanta-based e-commerce website development and digital marketing agency. So I've been in the e-commerce space for about 9 years now. I was a previous e-commerce merchant myself, selling handbags, and then kind of transitioned to working with other e-commerce brands who are actually passionate about the products that they are selling. So I really enjoy working with brands in the apparel, the beauty, jewelry, CPG spaces to really help develop their websites and find digital marketing solutions and help them keep their customers coming back. So I'm super excited to partner with Saltbox today and bring you all some marketing tips before Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
And hi, everyone. I'm Olivia Mariani. I am head of marketing here at Saltbox. My background is marketing, of course, but I'm from the SaaS world, so software as a service. And I think there's a lot of synergies between that industry and e-commerce. So I'm going to bring a little bit of that lens to the conversation today, as well as, of course, the logistics side. Some of you joining may be gearing up for your first peak season ever. Saltbox community is filled with a lot of growing and emerging small e-com brands. So we're definitely going to tell you a little bit about how to plan for the logistics side, because that can definitely make or break your customer retention. If you do a great job at blowing up on TikTok or doing an amazing job with your marketing, what happens when you actually have to fulfill the products? A lot of people have questions about that. So we're going to bring to the table some strategies for ensuring that you don't get too overloaded this time of year. And also just a quick note about Saltbox for those that aren't familiar. We are a modern alternative to traditional 3PLs. So Saltbox is a co-warehousing space where brands can work and have their products shipped and received alongside fellow entrepreneurs and grow and scale in a flexible way. So let's get into the presentation. We're going to start off with some stats here. So the good news is online shopping is growing. It's going to be our biggest season ever, especially post-COVID. We will expect to see an 8% increase in holiday spending. So plan for your shoppers overall to be spending in the US $1,778 in total. Also, this is a compressed timeline this year. So Thanksgiving's really late. Christmas is coming up fast. There's fewer days between Thanksgiving and Christmas compared to 2023. Read more hectic and more intense for BFCM. We're also excited to see that there is a projection of 30% increase in shopping sales online. So that's almost a 10% growth rate year over year. A lot of that is being fueled by the creator economy and influencers, which we'll touch on a little bit in this presentation. And then 80% of shoppers are already starting. So in some ways, we're a little bit behind the ball, but no worries, because Malikah and I are going to give you guys some tips to implement fast so that you can get your holiday campaigns flowing. Let's move on to the next slide. So now that we have an understanding of anticipated consumer behavior, I'm going to walk us through some winning marketing strategies that'll help you stand out from the competition. Hopefully you already have your holiday campaign out there, but again, no sweat. We're here to give you some tips that you can implement quickly. So let's start with UGC. So user-generated content. It used to be that in general, content is king. That would be the saying in marketing. But today it's absolutely UGC is king for pretty much every industry, but especially e-commerce brands. So how can we take UGC and apply it to our holiday campaigns? Well, first of all, if you're a newer brand and you're getting a lot of traffic and your campaigns are getting a lot of clicks, fantastic. But to encourage that conversion rate, you're going to want to include way more social proof than you even think you need. And so social proof in the form of reviews on your product pages will instill trust and confidence in buyer decisions and make sure that that click actually turns into a purchase. You also are definitely going to want to feature testimonials from any repeat customers. There are lots of tools out there that can help you scale this, but if you don't have tools in place yet, start by just reaching out and seeing if you can get some of your loyal customers to write a review ahead of holiday season so that it can help with stickiness of those conversions. And then you're also going to want to work with creators to help your brand stand out. And one thing we've noticed for sure with the brands we work with is you want to make sure the creators have full freedom to leverage their own voice and brand. Give them some guidelines on what you want out of your creative, but let them run with what works for them because the more authentic, the better. There's a couple tools for a pro tip here that we recommend. 2 are called Grin and Trend. Actually, at Saltbox, we use these tools internally for our own customer advocacy program. They will do everything and make it super simple to streamline the process of creative briefs, scripting, the editing process, and even finding creators in a specific niche that fit the voice and look of your brand. And then you can pay the creators on the platform. It's awesome. Definitely check out those 2 tools. And then let's move on to our next strategy here, which is gamification. So you guys are probably very familiar in the e-com world with giveaways and strategies to grow your social, but you may not know that this actually works at converting customers as well. So definitely consider gamification, especially during the holiday season. So a few ways that we like to look at this are through contests and giveaways. So these definitely work to grow your brand organically. You can also turn them into loyal customers by enrolling them into your loyalty program and offering exclusive perks in exchange for something of value. And then, of course, incentivizing referrals with points and discounts. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you can put together or launch and promote your loyalty campaign side by side with the holiday campaigns that you have running. Even if you're a small business who isn't expecting a ton of repeat customers, you should definitely, as best practice, have some sort of loyalty program, which will help with, again, sticking the conversion rate. Here's a couple tools for you to check out. Smile.io, Yotpo, Okendo. These are all products that can help you implement and scale your loyalty program and keep the customers happy post-purchase. And then finally, something that we wanted to put on your radar is small business markets and localized content. So try to have a presence at a few and see how your traffic post show or post event is affected. You'd be surprised, even if you don't get a lot of sales on site, people do go to find gift options, and we really highly recommend this. We've seen it work with a lot of Saltbox members, including one example that I wanted to bring to you guys. So we actually have 2 members in one of our Saltbox locations that are in a similar space, and they came up with this genius collaboration. The companies are called Flower and Olive and Full Olive. So Flower and Olive sells premium olive oil cake mixes, and Full Olive imports gourmet olive oils from South America. So they collabed and got in front of audiences at a local farmers market, and that really worked for them to drive consumers and sales. So think about something similar you might be able to do for a fun holiday campaign. And then if that's not up your alley or it's not particularly applicable to your industry, at the very least, make sure you're using geo-targeted ads and promotions. Personalization is key. It works. We all know it. So while it is more work, definitely make the case to do your geo-specific campaigns, landing pages, copy, etc. So I'm going to pass it over to Malikah, who's going to talk about slaying your sales goals and driving more revenue and repeat customers.
Thank you, Olivia. That was great. So as you all know, when it comes to slaying your sales goals, it's not just about winning on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but also in the months coming after. So yes, it is great to make sales and gain new customers, but you also want to implement strategies to turn those one-time customers into loyal fans. So how you can do that is you can deck out your product pages for conversions. So this is actually where the decision making is made. So you want to make sure it's as personalized as possible, since personalization is what drives conversions. So you can spark interest with eye-catching product pages. So what you'll want to do is add real-time features like low stock alerts and countdown timers for special deals. That's a great way to create scarcity and build a sense of urgency around the deals. So, if you only have 3 items left, you want to make sure that that's placed on the product page. Or if a deal's only going to last for 5 more hours, you want to make sure you have those countdown timers to show those special deals. You can also offer free shipping for purchases over a certain threshold. So it might say on your product page, you're $10 away from free shipping. So if your free shipping is free over $100 and your customer has, maybe $50 worth of items in their cart, you can say you're $50 away from free shipping. And then that way they can easily see how much more they need to, purchase in order to save. And then you can include processing times, estimated shipping times, and shipping deadlines directly on the product pages. So you do want to eliminate the amount of clicks that a customer has to take on the website. So make sure you're providing all of those necessary details directly on the product page. And then a pro tip here, you can automate and personalize those customer interactions using the app Because, which is a Shopify app, or it's an app on the Shopify store. It's a no-code Canva-like editor that you can set up and use without even having a developer. So you can add that free shipping message, like I mentioned, directly on the product page using that app, and it doesn't require a developer, and it makes it easy for you to set up. Next slide. So unwrap advanced email marketing magic. Rather than stressing over, how many emails do I need to send out during the peak season, be sure that you first have your email automation set up for those high intent shoppers. So email automations will be great, and they'll be great to send out based on that customer behavior. If they're abandoning a cart or they're signing up for your newsletter, you want to make sure that you have a series of emails set up after that. So you'll want to drive urgency with the Captivating Nurture series. And within those email campaigns, you'll want to first use behavior-based holiday segmentation based on the previous holiday shopping behavior. So for example, if someone purchased from you last year during the holidays, you can then create a series of automations that will go out this year and let them know, like, hey, you were interested in these products last year. You might also be interested in these as well. You can set up holiday countdown series with gift guides, special one-day deals, early access to VIP, or sneak peeks of upcoming promotions. And this will help with keeping that momentum going during the holiday sales rather than just sending, those salesy batch and blast emails. And then within these series, you can send, like daily emails letting them know about deals that you have going on, or like the inside scoop. So it'll make them feel, included. And then you'll also want to create scarcity-driven abandoned cart campaigns to remind customers to buy, or offer like a limited time discount to push them towards that purchase. So rather than just sending, one, hey, you forgot this item in your cart email, you can send a series of emails. So maybe like 3 emails that will incentivize them to purchase. And then even on that final email, you can send like a deal, like, hey, get this item for 10% off. And then pro tip here, you want to automate your marketing messages using tools like Klaviyo. You can drive urgency to purchase in the final hours using email campaigns alongside SMS messages. So with like your abandoned cart emails, maybe on those first 2 emails or the first 2 messages, it's an email. And then on that final one, it might be like an SMS message. Okay. And then bundle up and bank on exclusive holiday offers. So instead of offering that normal, 20 to 50% off, you can offer your customers creative discounts that won't get hidden with all the other Black Friday, Cyber Mondays deals that are going on. So you can create personalized experiences through exclusive offers. So you can first allow shoppers to build their own holiday bundles. So directly on the product display page, like you see over to the right, you can allow customers to add additional items, like complimentary items, to their cart, which will help increase the average order value. You can give loyal customers first access to your holiday deals before the general public with VIP flash sales. So you can show love to your like loyal customers with those VIP deals and let them know that they receive first access. And then you can enable a buy one, gift one, which is outside of the normal, like buy one, get one. So instead, you can allow customers to gift an item. So maybe they gift like a gift card instead. And then pro tip here, you can send email surveys to understand what discounts and promos your customers are interested in. So if you're unsure of what promo you want to offer just yet, send a survey out to your VIP customers and ask them what they want to see for the holiday. So maybe it's buy one, get one, it's 50% off, it's a daily deal, but that way you can kind of check with them and ask, what they want to see for the holiday. Okay. So now I'm going to pass it off to Olivia, who is going to chat through the operations side of things.
Thanks, Malikah. So yes, as I mentioned, Saltbox is in the business of logistics, so we would be remiss to not include some tips for your operations side of the coin. The chat is a little bit quiet today. Who wants to, if you're a newer brand and this is your first peak season, please shout out your brand in the chat. It'd be great to know like who's here from different stages of companies, but I will get into the content here. So starting with some basic tips around having a smoother fulfillment process. So for sure, we want to make sure that you have your cutoff dates by carrier nailed down. Once you have those locked in, you can back out the communications and set expectations with your customers. Every carrier is a little different, and heads up for you that aren't aware, this year USPS and UPS are applying surcharges and delays are expected. So you're definitely going to want to check the resource that we have on the Peak Hub. Monica is going to drop that in the chat, and you can see by carrier cutoff dates if you're looking, for example, to get your merchandise to the end user by Christmas. Banners are a great way to spell this out. So most web tools have a simple way to add a banner for any upcoming communications, and we highly, highly recommend for peak season that you do this for shipping to avoid disappointment. Over communication is always the name of the game. It's going to build you a long-term relationship with your shoppers. And especially as a smaller business, people do have a little bit of a higher tolerance for shipping, but you really don't want to have any disappointment with getting there by the cutoff date. So definitely put a banner on your site. You also could start email marketing early. This not only is going to set the pace for get your holiday orders in, but it's actually going to help you get more sales just by virtue of the noise and crowding that happens around like all the flash sales going on right around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So we recommend getting a drip campaign in advance so that you can do 2 things: communicate your shipping cutoff deadlines, but also build demand. Also, you're going to want to encourage customers to select premium express shipping for the last minute gifts. So make sure in your Shopify or however you process sales on your site that you're outlining premium express shipping as an option. And then moving on to pre-orders. So again, pre-orders are, we think, a really critical way to manage the holiday demand and predict how things are going to go. So ideally, you're trying to spread and space out your orders in this holiday rush while not cannibalizing overall sales. They're the way to go to avoid that last minute rush. We love Notify the app to manage your pre-orders effectively. You can communicate to buyers on shipping timelines, and you also can communicate on the back end with your fulfillment partner or your internal team about any SKUs that are on pre-order to ensure no shipping mishaps. I also think that some of the lifecycle marketing tips that Malikah mentioned around creating a multi-channel campaign well ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday can help you input some of these pre-orders into the mix. You're also going to want to make sure that you have that ongoing revenue leading up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so that you can pour gas on what's working at the very end to hit your sales goals. Or maybe do something fresh, like adding new creative to your campaign or a giveaway. But you don't want to just do like a one-time communication, both from the operations standpoint and the demand standpoint. You want it to be leading up drip campaigns to the day. Also, just a little shout out to Saltbox. If you are a member of Saltbox, there are some on this call, I think, or if you're thinking about joining, we have an elastic workforce that can step in and help you for those last minute moments where you have a rush come in and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to fulfill all these orders on time. That's the beauty of using our flexible model. You can have our team come in, help you for literally just a day if needed. So something to consider if you do get unprecedented demand. And then moving on to returns. So this is a good way for you to stand out as a brand amongst others by having superior return policy. To us, we think it's a no-brainer to extend your returns timeline for holiday shoppers. Again, as you get discovered, whether it's through PR or social, and you're on these gift guides and you're getting so much more traffic than you thought around holiday season, make sure you're not losing all that traffic, but with a lackluster return policy. So if you extend that runway and you make it super simple, if something doesn't work out with the gift giving, you will definitely get more conversions. So extending your return window is something we highly recommend. And again, this is going to happen with your life cycle campaigns that you're hopefully turning on ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but encouraging buyers to buy earlier so you can space out your fulfillment is going to help alleviate any operational constraints. But at the end of the day, our biggest advice here is to just have a plan. So making sure that you have a detailed conversation with your fulfillment team or your 3PL partner if you're working with one about how soon you'll start processing returns. Make sure you have detailed SOPs around timelines documented. Just have a plan, because no plan is how mistakes happen. And like we said, we're all here because we want to acquire more customers and keep them post-holidays. So now I'm going to pass it on to Malikah, who's going to talk about what happens after acquisition and how do you increase lifetime value.
Sorry about that, Olivia. I think that was still you there. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, yes, you're right. One more slide from me before I pass it on to Malikah. So I'm going to talk about personalization and unboxing. So who doesn't love a memorable unboxing experience? It definitely can help with driving word of mouth and getting your flywheel activated on social, because those kinds of experiences are what consumers are looking for, especially around the holidays. It is a great way for your brand to stand out. So some tips if you aren't doing this, or if you're using like the typical, generic Uline package today, but you want to add something in to stand out a little bit more. Including a personalized note in each order can be a really beautiful way, even with basic packaging. But you also could use branded packaging. Even just tape with your logo. We think this is a much better alternative to the generic standard. It really will help create that excitement for both the purchaser and also the gift recipient, and it'll just leave a lasting impression. So you also can encourage social sharing through these types of personal inserts, and maybe put a tip about your loyalty program in, or a coupon for encouraging repeat business. Saltbox actually makes it really easy for you to do this if you want to be able to be hands off with your fulfillment, but have personalization. And if that unboxing experience matters to your brand identity, Saltbox is a good alternative to like a 3PL or Amazon who can't really handle that type of customization. So now I'm going to pass it to Malikah about customer experience.
Yes. So just kind of more on crafting that loyalty. You do want to deliver exceptional customer service. And just looking at these stats here, it says 93% of customers are likely to make repeat purchases with companies with excellent service. And 78% of consumers will do business with the brand again, even after a mistake. So just kind of based on those stats, customers will continue to shop with the brand, even if they do make a mistake, as long as they provide great service. So that includes, responding quickly, being respectful, actually listening to the customer. Some ways that you can provide, those real-time supports that drives peak season success is you can implement a live chat support or AI-driven chatbots that can resolve those common issues instantly to avoid customer frustrations during those busy times. So you can use an app for chat support and provide real-time support, but also include automated messages that are based on like your frequently asked questions or questions that people are commonly, reaching out to you about. So you can eliminate and, those worries and those fears that the customer might have around shopping from your store. You also want to anticipate customer needs by proactively communicating order status updates. So outside of just those, order confirmations, the shipping confirmations, you also want to provide quick updates directly to your customer if an order is delayed, or if there's an inventory issue. So you just want to make sure that you're staying on top of things, and you're anticipating your customers' needs and you're reaching out to them as quickly as you can. And then create a dedicated holiday customer service portal with FAQs, video tutorials, and step-by-step guides to communicate like those return policies, the gift wrapping options, and extended return windows. So you can possibly have, one full page on your website or an actual portal that answers any of those questions, so that customers aren't having to click off, the product pages. They have those answers right there for them, and they don't have to click around to multiple pages to see different answers that they may have. And then just kind of a pro tip here, you can use platforms such as Gorgeous, Shopify Inbox, or Zendesk to streamline your customer inquiries. So you do want to provide transparency around shipping, items being out of stock, website errors, discount errors, etc. And it should be handled swiftly and empathetically. So if you don't have a chat support in your store now and you're using, a platform like Shopify, you can use Shopify Inbox, which will allow you to easily set up this chat bot. And then you can even have those automated messages like we just discussed. Okay. And then retargeting strategies to re-engage your holiday shoppers. So most customers do not actually make a purchase on that first time seeing your website, not at all times. Typically, it takes buyers about 7 times to see your ad or your post before they actually make a purchase. So even if the shopper didn't purchase, necessarily during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you can still re-engage with them if they were engaging with you during that holiday season. So you can boost holiday conversions with strategic retargeting. So you can use dynamic retargeting ads that actually show the shoppers exactly what they were looking at. So you may say like, hey, is this item still on your wish list? And then that way you can actually showcase the products that they were looking at. You can segment your audience based on behavior. So, like the customers that purchase versus the customers that didn't purchase, the VIP customers, the holiday customers. You can target customers based off of their browser history. So you can create, those personalized messages and provide the right message to the right customer at the right time. So maybe if someone was browsing one of your products in store, then you can automatically send them those automated emails based on that product they were viewing. And then you want to create urgency focused retargeting campaigns, emphasizing, last chance shipping windows or dwindling stock levels. So you might want to include messaging like, this is your last chance, don't miss out, we're in the final hours. And you really want to create that urgency and kind of get them to convert, because a lot of the people that are shopping or that did shop during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they might still have to buy other gifts for, Christmas or holidays in December. So you still have time to catch up with them. And just a pro tip there, you can use platforms like AdRoll, which allows you to set up those dynamic retargeting ads and actually show customers the products they were looking at. Instead of just running your ads on like Meta on Facebook and Instagram, you can also allow it to show up on, like websites, different apps, different social platforms using an app like AdRoll. Okay. And then post-purchase engagement to keep those customers coming back. So you want to make customers feel special even after they've made the purchase. So you have to continue to nurture that relationship even after that, first date. You want to make customers feel special. So you can do that by sending personalized thank you emails. So you'll want to continue to keep them coming back and offer them deals. So you'll want to send out emails, thanking them, of course, but then also offering, like deals or showcase other products that you may have to try to get them to come back. You'll want to encourage feedback by offering a small incentive using quick surveys and post-purchase emails. And you can do that through platforms like Okendo or Klaviyo. So you'll just want to ask them questions to get to know them better. So like you see in the image to the right, you can ask them, how did you hear about us? So if it's, TikTok, or if they're all saying through social media, then maybe, that's where you want to focus your marketing efforts. And then you'll want to craft personalized post-purchase emails suggesting those complimentary products, information on your brand, how to use your product. So after they make that purchase, you want to continue to nurture that relationship by, telling your story, offering support, and just making them feel comfortable and feeling like they can trust you and trust buying from your store. So just pro tip here, you'll want to set up automations to reach different audience segments. So like those that abandoned the cart, those that made a purchase, those who, may have not shopped in a while. They may have shopped during Black Friday, but say some times went by and they haven't made an additional purchase. You can set up, like win back email campaigns to get them to, come back and shop with you again. Okay. And then you'll also want to use that customer feedback to refine retention strategies. So you'll want to make sure that you're using the data that you receive during the holidays to know how to go about future marketing campaigns. So like we mentioned in the previous slide, if they came from TikTok, then that might be the marketing channel that you want to focus on. So you'll want to make changes based on the survey responses and let your customers know that you actually listened. So if you send out a post-purchase survey and everyone says, shipping took a long time, then you'll know for next time that you'll want to either, showcase those expected shipping times on your product pages or maybe push up that shipping deadline. You'll want to see which promotions work best and reuse for future campaigns. So if you had multiple deals going on during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and certain of them they worked better, those might be the similar promotions that you'll want to use again in the future. And then you'll want to check your email campaign metrics. So your email service provider provides, those reporting metrics. So they'll tell you how many people opened your email, what time they open the email. They'll provide A/B testing so you can compare your different campaigns to see what worked best. So you'll definitely want to pay attention to those metrics. And then review the customer support request to see which questions should be added to your FAQs. So if you noticed, there were certain questions that continue to come up during the holidays, those might be questions that you want to make sure are front and center on like your FAQs or in your chat supports. And then also analyze customer reviews that were 4 stars and lower to understand how you can improve. So for any negative reviews or reviews that were less than 4 stars, look at what you can do to actually improve and provide a better customer experience. So if you had a lot of complaints about like the quality of your items, then maybe you can look into a different distributor or a different vendor so you can provide that better experience for the customer. Okay. And here I am going to close you all out with the checklist for launching your Black Friday, Cyber Monday marketing and operations plan. So tying it all together, here is key prep for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So in the days leading up to your holiday sales, you'll want to first prep your inventory to ensure counts are correct and can sustain demand. So you don't want to miss out on sales due to incorrect inventory counts. So definitely check that. You'll want to test your entire website and checkout experience to ensure all tools and promotional integrations are working properly. It would suck to get all these apps and integrations set up and then it's not even working. So make sure you're testing, and then also make sure you're testing out your checkout page as well. So actually run through it to make sure the promotions are working and there's nothing going on with the checkout page. Ensure your customer service chatbot form are routing requests properly and prep your team to handle an influx of inquiries. So make sure you have someone on staff dedicated to handling these requests because you don't want to come off as unorganized or not on the same accord as your team. And then check your email campaigns to confirm their schedule, formatting is correct, and all links and buttons are working as intended. So just like with your website, you want to test, send a test email to yourself, and then make sure all of those links are working. And also check it on different devices because a lot of times if you're using like an iPhone, you have dark mode and it might not show up. So just make sure that it looks correct on all devices as well. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Malikah and Olivia. I know a lot of those insights I didn't know, and I have a small business, so definitely going to take a lot of those takeaways. I know that there were a couple questions in the chat, so we'll get to those. But first, I want to send out a message that if anyone is interested in Malikah's company, On 12 Management, they help guide you through the process of optimizing your website and using a lot of these tips that we talked through today. So if you are interested in having a consultation or just getting more information from her, drop your email address in the chat right now, and we will make sure to have her follow up with you. All right. Also, we're going to open the floor for Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And I will also run through some questions we received in the chat during the presentation as well. So going back, we had a couple questions. Let me just find the first one here. A lot of you guys posted your businesses, so that's also great. We had a question from Donna Brittingham. Hello. You asked, which app are you using for choosing complimentary items? Malikah, I think that's a question for you.
Yes. So one app that you can use is the Frequently Bought Together. That's the name of the app. But it allows you to show those complimentary items directly on the product page. So you can see those there. So that's one of them. But in the Shopify app store, there are several others, but that's one that I do have experience with. And that's great for showing those recommendations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think Donna had another question too. Specifically, do you have any services that could help me with KPTI?
Is that a question for me? Sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So for the key performance indicators, if you're referring to like with the email marketing, so Klaviyo, it will help you keep up with your KPIs, and it'll have metrics in there as well, and also even benchmarks. So it'll show you compared against other industries that are related to yours. It'll show benchmarks in Klaviyo, so you'll know if you're hitting your actual goals there as it relates to, you know, how many people are opening my emails, or how many people are clicking on my emails, or, you know, clicking through them. So it'll provide those metrics for you through Klaviyo if you're using that as a platform for emails. I hope that answers your question.
All right. We have a question from Kalia Carter. She asked, for my first Black Friday, and as someone who is running a small business with only myself, which of these tactics would you suggest that we focus on? For example, should I prioritize email marketing and landing page optimization, or maybe others?
Yeah, I would definitely say email marketing, but first get those email marketing automations in place. Because when someone, you know, comes to your website, you want to make sure you're capturing those people before they even get on your news list. So if they like abandon a cart, those people might not be on your email newsletter, but once they abandon their cart, then you're able to start sending them those automations. And even when it comes to like the landing page, when you're sending that traffic to your website, you want to make sure you're getting people to the right pages. And when you're sending out those email campaigns, you want to make sure you're driving them to the right page as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand, but you do want to I would say definitely make sure that your emails are together for Black Friday.
Olivia, do you want to add anything from a ops perspective?
Yeah, I think that email, I agree, is like, it's a fast way to get responses, and you can iterate quickly and test, which is why I'm such a fan of it. On the ops side, I think, are you thinking I should just like, what would you approach first to try to have seamless logistics?
Yeah.
I definitely think having the extended returns window is just it's gonna like protect your brand reputation. So if there's one thing from there that I would implement as a newer brand, it would be that. It'll give you a little bit more cushion, and like help increase your conversion rates.
That's good feedback. And they go hand in hand, which I think is important. I know it's hard as a small business to hone in on one thing to focus on. But I would agree with Malikah and Olivia that email marketing is very helpful. And just communicating at every stage of the purchase process. So whether it's, you know, from the time they buy to when the product ships to when it lands on their doorstep, just keeping that communication open is very important. We have a question from Elena. She says, what is your view of Omnisted versus Klaviyo? And I think that's a question for you, Malikah.
Yes. So I will say I don't have a ton of experience with Omnisend, but I do know that with Klaviyo, it's specifically for e-commerce brands. So that's why I always go towards Klaviyo, because it was built specifically for brands that are in the e-commerce space. And sorry, my light kind of went off here in the studio, but yeah, I would definitely say Klaviyo is specifically for e-commerce brands. So you do want to do that if you're selling an actual product, because you'll be able to set up those automations like those abandoned cart emails, and after someone makes a first purchase, and the win back campaigns. And then also the segmentation gets really deep as well. So being able to go segment based off of people who purchased versus people who didn't purchase, as well as, you know, getting down to the product level. So what specifically did they purchase? And then being able to tailor those messages around that. And
All right, our next question. How do I go about identifying my VIP customers?
Sorry, had to grab the light. So with the VIP customers, so within Klaviyo, again, when you go into your segments, are creating those audience, you can create a segment based off of how much someone has purchased from you. So if you want to do your VIPs based off of the amount that they purchased, you can create a segment for people who have purchased from you previously and they've purchased over, let's say, $600. That might be your VIP customer. So anyone who's purchased over $600 from you, or you can say, anyone that's made over 5 purchases from my store, no matter the amount, the cost that they paid. But if they've purchased frequently with me, that might be considered a VIP customer. Or it might be people who are on or signed up to your loyalty program. So anyone who signed up for the loyalty, they kind of get first access and they can be a VIP or considered a VIP because of that. But yeah, you are able to create those audiences and segments within Klaviyo. But I would say the VIP would be, those people who have either purchased a lot from you or has purchased a large amount from you or someone on your loyalty group.
Right. We have a question for Olivia. So if a customer's order doesn't arrive in time, how should I address the customer?
Great point. So I think directly, especially if you're at a scale where you don't have like a full customer service team, I do think that a letter directly from the founder is really useful here. Just like Malikah brought to the table, like empathy is the word, right? I think that goes a long way. It's about how you communicate and how you resolve issues. And that's how brands will be remembered and people will repurchase. This isn't unique to this industry, right? Like think about anytime you've had an issue with anything, whether it's a contractor that messed something up or a hairdresser, like it's all about issues are going to come up, right? We can't prevent them from happening, but the way you communicate means a lot. So that personal outreach via email is how I would handle it.
Yeah, I know that I'm someone who, if something does happen, I like to get an email about it, or I like to get any kind of communication just saying, hey, we might have messed up, or, we have this going on, but we recognize that customer service is important to us and we're willing to either give a discount or say, hey, like we want your business back. How can we fix that?
Yeah, and proactively catching it too, if you can, before the customer. Like if you find, oh, we just sent the wrong email communication or we had the wrong shipping deadlines, like that's okay. Just let them know, hey, we've identified this mistake and we fixed it for you. And here's a coupon for like your future purchases for the trouble. That goes a long way.
I agree. And I think too, a lot of the times going to the point of carriers and carriers meeting their own deadlines, it's hard as a small business to rely on that all the time. So a lot of the times the mistake might not even be on your end. It might be that, the delivery window is missed because the UPS driver forgot to pick the package up. So yeah, there's a lot of instances that go into it, but again, communicating and just letting people know this is what's going on is very helpful.
And a note on to respond to that, Momo, I think it's good for the brands listening today to hear about how they can actually control a little bit more some of that carrier responsibility issues. Like not only can you in your communications, again, like post cutoff dates and things, but by diversifying your carrier network, you might be able to avoid some of those pitfalls. And what I mean by that are, you guys may not even be aware, but there are many more carriers out there getting packages to customers than UPS, FedEx, USPS, and DHL. The issue with these carriers is that a lot of smaller brands can't get access to them. They are going like directly to the largest e-com brands like SaksFifthAvenue.com or things like that. But a pro tip for Saltbox members that are listening, or if you're thinking about joining Saltbox, because we have several locations across the US and relationships with these emerging carriers, you as a small brand can get access to those carriers and thus have faster and cheaper shipping that makes customers happier and reduces mistakes that are usually from these national carriers. So just a tip there, you might want to look into emerging carriers.
Yeah, I think another point on that too is that a lot of surcharges that happen during peak season. So USPS, UPS, FedEx all implement additional charges on top of what you already pay for your shipping during the holidays. And so a way to get around that is by using these emerging carriers. A lot of them don't have peak season fees or fuel surcharges, things like that. So it's really important that you explore all your options to see how you can save, especially if your shipping volume is increasing by a lot during the holidays, which most brands typically do. Awesome. We have about 10 minutes left. So if you have any other questions, drop them in the chat now. I'm going to run through the last couple that we've received. And then I'll have a little closing note at the end. So another question that we received was, how many emails should I send during Black Friday and Cyber Monday? And I think both Olivia and Malikah, you can weigh in on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would definitely say you want to make sure that you're getting the communication out to your customers about how many deals that are going on, what deals are going on. But you also want to keep in mind that they are also receiving a lot of other messages from other brands as well during this time. So I think it's more so about sending the right message at the right time rather than, how many emails should I send? So making sure you have like those segmentations in place. Make sure that you're getting the deals out to your customers whenever it's happening. So, if they only have 5 more hours into the deal, make sure you're sending like those last minute reminders as well. And then also kind of explaining more information about your products that you have, that you're having the deals on, so they're informed as well. So I don't think it's necessarily like how many, but more so who are you sending it to, and are you sending it at the right time to that right audience?
Agreed. And I think the contents of it matters too. Like we talked about UGC a little bit here. So rather than doing like multiple iterations of the same email where you're, following up on the sale or, just communicating something that is really more of that bottom of funnel, buy my product type message, the UGC will probably, people have higher tolerance for seeing how other customers are using your product, and they'll be more interested in engaging in that type of email content. So mix up the type of messaging as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I saw that Jules, she also works at Saltbox. She just dropped a comment about our parcel app. So what Olivia and I were talking about in terms of emerging carriers and avoiding those peak season surcharges, we have our shipping app, Parcel, that helps you unlock a lot of these emerging carriers and provides cheaper rates. So if you're interested in that, and then also just understanding how co-warehousing might be a better solution for you during peak season, drop your email similar to how we asked you for in terms of getting information from Malikah, and we will send you information on Parcel and on Saltbox so you can learn more. A couple more questions we have. Should I send email campaigns and SMS messages at the same time? That's a really great question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so kind of how I mentioned in the presentation about like if you're sending abandoned cart emails or abandoned cart messages, if you're going to send like a series of 3 email automations, maybe on those first 2, you'll want to send it to their email. And then if they're not, opening up their emails, then on that final push, you can send it, to the text message or through SMS. And that way you're kind of creating a sense of urgency. But I would not say for every single email campaign that you send, also send a text message as well, because then, your customers or your subscribers may get a little tired of all the messages. So only really send like the SMS messages for like the transactional emails, the when you're trying to create a sense of urgency, or if it's for customers that are not opening up their emails, then send them, text instead.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the questions that we have. We are going to wrap. A huge thank you to Olivia and Malikah for joining us today and providing these insights for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and peak season as a whole. Just so you guys know, like we mentioned, we're here to support you, Saltbox and On 12 Management. So don't hesitate to reach out. Drop your email if you want more information from Olivia, from Malikah, from these businesses as a whole, and we would be happy to provide more information. Olivia, Malikah, you want to add anything before we wrap?
I think just for anyone who happens to be tuning in from Atlanta, we are doing a special session opportunity with Malikah. So if you end up joining Saltbox, or if you're an existing member in Atlanta, you will get a free session consultation with Malikah. So definitely, specifically if you're in Atlanta, make sure you book your tour, because that's a really great value add that we're doing ahead of peak season. And hopefully in the future, we'll be able to do it with more locations.
Yes. So I'm excited to help you all. If you're not based in Atlanta or a member with Saltbox, I am still here to help though. So if you're interested in like website audits, or maybe you just need some help around the strategy for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but you're, doing it yourself, please feel free to reach out and I would love to support you there.
All right. Thank you everyone so much. We'll be sending the recording out after the session. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Great content. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.